Maia Sandu, hello.
Hello.
We are in the European Parliament where you received the European Order of Merit. By my side, to start this interview, Dana Alexandra Scherle with the Deutsche Welle.
Hello.
Maia Sandu, the European Order of Merit was given to you along with Angela Merkel, Lech Walesa, Volodymyr Zelensky and other very important European personalities. And it was given to you, and I quote, for steering Moldova decisively along its European path. So are you still confident that Moldova will make it and join the EU before 2030?
I am very determined and I am confident that Moldova will become part of the EU. And it is our commitment towards the people of Moldova to have Moldova ready by 2030. And we do believe and we do hope that the EU institutions and the EU member states will support our agenda.
You're not afraid that it's taking too much time?
There is always risks that some things will be delayed, but we are not losing time. We are implementing the reforms, not waiting for formal decisions. But of course, we want the formal decisions also to be taken.
Mm-hmm. Would a two-steps approach be fine with you? Just be a partial member before full membership? Would that work for you?
We are now working on full membership. This is a merit-based process. We're implementing the reforms for full membership. So this is the discussion we're having today with EU institutions and EU member states, and this is the process that we're following at home.
A big hurdle for Moldova on its path to the European Union is Transnistria, the separatist region where Russian troops are stationed illegally. What will you do about that, and how can Moldova become a member of the European Union in spite of this big problem?
Of course, we would like to solve the problem, and we have been taking measures. We have been taking measures on the economic and financial parts. We see more people now coming for jobs on the right bank of Nostru. People in the Transnistrian region saw that they cannot rely on Russia because they experienced an energy crisis in the middle of the winter when Russia stopped the supply of gas. There is still an issue with security because Russia keeps the troops illegally on our territory. But we do hope to have geopolitical opportunity to solve this issue peacefully, of course. This is the commitment to solve the conflict peacefully. So we're working on this issue as well as we're working on the other commitments in terms of reforms that we have on our EU integration path.
And on top of these issues, Vladimir Putin signed a decree that makes it easier for residents of Transnistria to obtain Russian citizenship. This weekend you said that this was Russia's attempt to find new soldiers to fight in Ukraine. So what is your country's response to this new decree, and what could be done to prevent Transnistrians from fighting for Putin?
Well, we do know that Russia is trying to threaten us, and that might be also part of this plan to threaten us and to scare us. Russia has been doing this for a long time. We want to solve the conflict peacefully, so we have made this clear again and again, and we will not let Russia to influence our internal and external policy by these threats. We believe in freedom and we believe in the sovereignty, and that's why we will take the decisions that suit the Moldovans and not the decisions that suit Russia. Of course, Russia or the regime in Kremlin does not value human life, and we've seen it with respect to people who live in Russia. And we also know that Russia has been trying to get people from other countries to fight in Ukraine. But we also know that people in the Transnistrian region don't want to do that. And an example is that when the war started, many of the young people in the Transnistrian region moved to the right bank of Nostru, which is the part of the country controlled by the constitutional authorities. especially because they were afraid that Russia will send them to war. But they don't want to be sent to this crazy, brutal war. They all want to live in peace.
So does this mean that you don't expect many residents of Transnistria to apply for Russian citizenship?
I believe that those who wanted to have the citizenship, they probably got it in the past, but I also don't see why people would want today to have the Russian citizenship. On the contrary, many of them who didn't have the Moldovan passports got the Moldovan passports, and people want to be EU citizens, not Russian citizens these days.
Many Moldovans have Romanian passports, like you also. There has been a lot of discussion after your declaration in January that in case of a referendum, you would opt for a unification between Moldova and Romania. What would the advantages be of such a scenario? And might such a scenario be a plan B for the integration in the European Union?
I want my country to be safe, and I want Moldova to be part of the free world. It is becoming more and more difficult for small countries, especially in our region, to preserve and to follow their goals because of the aggression that we see on the part of Russia. So being part of the EU is for us the strategy to survive as a democracy, and we hope that we will manage to implement this plan sooner than later.
Without being part of Romania, you mean?
Well, we can join Romania in the EU, and we believe that, and it's just not what we believe, but also we have more people in Moldova who today support the EU integration. We do have some people who support the unification with Romania. We are now working hard on making Moldova part of the EU, and we hope that this scenario is going to work. If this is not going to work for one reason or another, of course, we will consider other options. The main objective is to keep Moldova in peace and to keep Moldova part of the free world.
Regarding Ukraine, Moldova has said recently that it would be part of the coalition of the willing in case of a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. What concretely would be your contribution to that? For instance, could Moldova provide bases for European soldiers?
Moldova is a neutral country, and we have to observe the neutrality in the constitution. But we have been helping with deminers, and we could do more of that if there is the need. We have been part of the solidarity lanes, and we could do more of that. So we're still discussing, but we want to help. And at the same time, we have to respect the neutrality in our constitution. So some of the things we can do, including sending soldiers.
Mm-hmm. And the experience of Moldova dealing with Russian troops could be an asset as well for the coalition of the willing, since some Russian troops are staying in Transnistria.
We have managed to keep the situation peaceful. We have managed to avoid any destabilization which could have dragged the region and then the country into the war. But it is in the interest of Moldova and in the interest of Ukraine and in the interest of the EU at large to have the Russian troops withdrawn from Moldova. So we have to work together on these issues.
Regarding Russia and its war crimes in Ukraine, last week more than 30 countries pledged in Chișinău to create an international tribunal, a special tribunal for prosecuting the Russian crimes in its war of aggression in Ukraine. Do you think that one day Vladimir Putin will stand before this court?
Yes, and I'm glad that we had 36 countries which already signed to participate, and we hope that there will be more countries which will join. Accountability is very important. If there is no accountability, then these crimes against humanity risk to repeat, and it's our duty to make sure that there is accountability, and it's our duty to make sure that those who are guilty of what has been happening in Ukraine for more than 4 years now will answer for their crimes.
Thank you so much, President Maia Sandu, for this interview and for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.